welcome to Cherish TV. We're going to get straight into it. We're not going to waste any time because time is of the essence.
Yes, it is.
Inquiring minds want to know, some of them are at this table, what do men wish that women knew about them? If you could kind of like let us know anything,
question.
some of those deep secrets on the inside of you about how you, in the way that you want us to treat you, think about you, what would they be?
I think that's a great question. You know, I read the book Wild at Heart, John
Yeah.
Eldridge. I even went to
Great
his
book.
4-day kind of boot camp, and he said the number one thing where men just feel suppressed, they've been emasculated.
Okay.
And
Wow.
whether that's
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
yeah,
workplace because they're trying to grind it out, or they come home and then the wife's been nagging or whatever. And it was a really indicator. He goes, you need to be men. Men were meant to hunt, to go after the business, to have the vision, to have the dreams. And if you come back and your wife or your girlfriend's just putting the, you know.
How much do men hate nagging? Really, tell us.
We hate
like,
it.
tell
Oh.
America.
scale
I'd
of 1
rather,
to
I'd
10.
rather crawl across glass
Oh.
for an hour.
Okay, so what does nagging look like to a man though? Because my husband will say to me sometimes, "Don't nag me," and I'm like, "I'm not. I'm just telling you something."
Preach.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference between communicating and telling somebody something, and then when do we cross that, breach that
Great
boundary into nagging?
Timing.
Okay.
For me, it's
Timing
timing.
is
So
everything.
if I had a rough day, or
Yeah.
men subconsciously, we want to be the most incredible provider. And
Yeah.
when we're not providing, or work's not going right, or the paycheck's not coming in, or the bonus, we just already have this burden. And to come home feeling deflated, and the
Yeah.
first thing we want to walk in is just have someone put some wind back in our sails and,
Wow.
man, hug me, tell me I'm amazing. Lie to me if you have to.
Come
But the
on.
last thing I'd be
Right.
like is, hey, don't forget it's Tuesday, take the trash out.
So we need to discern. We literally have to be like
Really
the
good
queens of
discerners.
discernment.
Because that's nothing. Taking
Yeah.
the trash out is nothing, but it's just my day. That's
yeah.
the straw that broke the camel back. Now it's just
So
like,
being
I'm out of here.
sensitive to
Yeah.
what you're carrying when you walk through the door, and
Yeah.
not just making it
But
about
But do we have to
us.
be mind readers? Can you communicate that you had a rough day so we know?
I think we can communicate it. I know when I first get home, I don't want to jump straight into a big, deep, heavy conversation. I
Okay.
need a bit of time to just
Unwind.
unwind from the day. I'm going to need,
Alright.
at some point, I'm going to need some time to sit down and watch some football or something, and then that's going to actually help me shake off the workday. And
Is that like
Be
you,
ready
is
to go
that
for
most
tonight.
men? Do they need like a man cave moment before we launch into
Yeah.
it's
all the
not
things
like
we want to talk
I
about?
don't need hours.
No, we
it's like
don't.
I just need a bit of time
Yeah.
to acclimatize.
Well,
to
the number one
that
thing
being
right
home.
now in the stat, sorry to interrupt,
Okay.
is just men, they say men are numb. So
Okay.
they have a
Wow.
buried pain due
Yeah.
to a wound, due to a hurt, whatever. They don't want to be
Disappointment.
vulnerable. They don't want to be, they had disappointment. We're not good at being vulnerable anyways, because we're supposed to be the hunter, the king, the warrior.
Right,
And we
yeah.
walk in and we're already kind of deflated. We need
Yeah.
a moment. And otherwise, if we don't get that and there's nagging, we tune you out. And we
Okay.
go numb on the inside. When you go numb long enough, that's why there's a porn problem.
Okay.
Men are just like, I can't handle it anymore. My wife's nagging at me. I'd rather just, I'm going to go and work in my office.
Right.
You know what? They're not going to work in their office.
you
They're
need
going to get an
encouragement.
outlet.
Yeah.
So are you guys saying you wish we knew how much you need encouragement?
And what sort of
Oh,
encouragement
man.
do you need?
Encouragement is huge. If
Huge.
I've just been in
Okay.
a meeting, you know, sometimes my wife is with me in certain meetings or conversations, and I've really had to put myself out there, have a tough conversation, and I've communicated this to my beautiful wife, that is when I need her encouragement so much.
Yeah.
I walk away from a conversation thinking, you know, I've potentially had to say something that was confrontational to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need her to speak.
Right.
So
words
what
of
would
encouragement
sound good
me
to you
at
in
that
that moment? Hey, the way you communicated that was so good. You sounded so wise. Like, what sounds good to you? What sounds like
Absolutely. Babe, you're
encouragement?
such a great leader. Like, just
Right.
say,
Any
pile
affirmation.
it on.
Any
you
affirmation.
can't really
You
overdo
need
it
to
at that
just
point.
over. Yeah.
How many times have we heard
Yeah.
Pastor Jurgen say every guy needs a cheerleader?
Yes.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty hard to overdo it at that point when a guy's just sort of made a withdrawal on his courage and put it out there.
Yeah.
That's when we
Right.
need encouragement.
deposit.
And, put it
And
back
if the
Okay.
wife isn't cheering him on, someone's gonna. So we really need to
Right.
so
encourage
true.
him.
No.
Call
Even
this
if
number.
it is the
If you need
virtual girl
encouragement.
on the computer,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
He's going to find that deposit
Yeah,
somewhere.
I mean, you know, you're a boss, you're a leader, you've got people in your world at work that are constantly looking up to you. They do whatever you say because of how that's all set up.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that that you are your husband's biggest fan so that he
Yeah.
knows he always has your eyes, he always has your praise.
So
And that's
good.
going to draw him closer and closer into your world rather than clinging after him or nagging him. I've said to my wife, if you can let me go a little bit. Like I can get away and I feel comfortable to sit down and watch a rugby league game from Australia.
Yeah, got it.
Then that makes me, even if it's just for an hour or two, it makes me miss you and I want to come back. But if you're nagging at me during the game, it's like even after the game's finished, I still need space.
Oh my goodness.
I got a big question. How does sex play into this? Like encouragement with our words. What about other types of encouragement? How does that play into
That has
this?
been a question we've been asked a lot about, let's call it romance in a relationship. For men, what would be the expectation there? You're speaking to a lot of the wives of America and the world right now, and this is a really, really commonly asked question. So
Yeah.
what would that look like in a healthy relationship, healthy marriage?
You know, I think a lot of women just go, "Oh, my husband just wants sex all the time," and the truth is, it's not just sex. If we're getting the affirmation or the deposits of that, it's so affirming. It's not like we're just testosterone full throttle all the time. But if you're not getting that, then what happens is that frustration builds up. It actually produces physiological testosterone in your body when you're under stress. And so the more stress we're under, the more our testosterone can go, and then you need an outlet.
So being sensitive to the
Wow.
fact when there's high stress times, it's not a time to back away.
Yeah.
Romantically, sexually, it's a time to engage and know this is actually like a stress reliever.
Because if a
That's
man
great.
doesn't decompress, they'll stay in high cortisol, not to get all scientific, and if they're there too long, they lose their libido.
Wow.
So
This is great information.
This is good
This is
information.
taken
Yeah,
into
that's
note.
incredible.
Is there anything else that you wish us girls would know about you men?
If you're asking
There's gotta
a
be a lot of
question-
things.
Yeah, I find in my marriage, if you're asking a question, make sure it's interlaced with respect and affirmation.
Honour.
So that there's a difference between being asked the question and being questioned.
Oh,
Wow.
And that's where...
A question and an accusation.
Exactly.
Oh man, I've got into so much trouble
Me too.
in my relationship
I've got
for
some
that
stories.
very
Last week.
reason.
let me see your phone.
Right? No. Well, I
not
think
even
just the
that.
accusation question
Yeah.
is like, it's amazing how quickly we can go from saying, "Hey, how did I just want to know, did the trash get taken out?" Instead of,
Yes.
"Why didn't the trash get taken out?"
Yeah.
Like,
Is it
Well,
tone?
the
Is
Bible
it
says we
tone? Like, how
come
do we-
into his gates with praise. So it's the same thing with approaching someone. If you say, babe, you're always such a great provider, can I ask you a question about something about finances? Then you proceed your question with praise and encouragement. And I think it brings honour with the question. And I know that's
I'm gonna
never
take
going,
that,
that's
'cause
never
my
going to do
husband
harm,
complains
is it?
about that to
Even
me.
if you feel like, oh, that's, laying it on a bit thick. How can that do anything negative?
right.
Yeah.
If the end goal is the win of the relationship
Exactly.
being,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Money is the biggest, one of the biggest
okay.
insecurities with men because we want to provide, and so we're
Right.
both looking at the bank account. You know, to come home and maybe I overspent at Costco. We're both looking at it. Maybe we didn't get the bonus, maybe whatever,
Yeah.
but finances are tight, and it's to become one.
Okay.
Let's win this thing together. Let's go over this mountain together.
Yeah.
You're already feeling insecure because maybe how are you going to pay rent this month?
Wow.
I need a champion to believe that something's going to happen.
And to
Not just
also
kick
be
me.
respectful of boundaries. I know a lot of
Yep.
women have problems with overspending, and it's this constant
Yeah.
stress on the husband.
Yes.
The weight they carry for provision and finance, and then if the wife doesn't understand that pressure,
Yeah, if she's not
they feel
sensitive.
so
Right.
degraded,
Sensitivity.
Yeah.
upset. It causes so much frustration.
Conflict. It's the number one cause of stress in America
Right.
is stress over finance.
Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
think that, men really carry in a lot of marriages
Yep.
that
It's
burden,
huge.
we need to be really mindful and
Right.
sensitive.
And wives, if you're thinking, well, I don't know if I can say, babe, you're a great provider, because maybe it's not true, then speak it out in faith, prophetically. Or even if a guy hears you, if your husband hears you say, babe, you're a great provider, in his head he's thinking, man, I want to live up to that.
Wow,
Phrase.
I
wanna
like
live
that.
Up to that.
Yeah.
And
That's
he
so
will
good.
rise
Speak
to
words
our
they can live up to,
encouragement. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
not live down to. I
Yeah.
like
Right.
that. Man, we
Exactly.
could talk about this forever.
Yeah.
I think
feel
we're
like
going to
we
do it
could.
again at some point, but for now, we're going to have to say goodbye, and we're going to see you next time on Cherish TV.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her worth is far above rubies. She seeks wool and flax, and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night, and provides food for her household. She girds herself with strength, and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come.